I had a hobby too. Mine happened to be guns and ballistics, and I studied guns and ballistics as much as I could, and I wrote an article about high velocity.
So out of all my years working at Weatherby, the last 5 have been some of the most exciting. Working with Adam, with him running the company.
And to think that I get the opportunity of carrying on my grandfather's legacy 75 years later here in Sheridan, Wyoming, I mean, it really is a dream come true.
Oh, I'm home. Thank God I'm home.
On Our Mark, the Weatherby Podcast.
I'm pretty proud of you, though, for my son. I mean, you guys get mixed up as far as being brothers or whatever else, but the old man in Wichita Falls, Texas, that was just certain that Tyler was my son
like
when we were getting hunting licenses.
Pretty
it was
good.
like,
what are you guys doing in Texas? Little father-son hunt?
That's what he said?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
man.
was like, man, I am not aging well.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So ever since he's my work father, and JD's my uncle.
And Raleigh and I are work brothers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is family business, honestly.
Good family business.
That it is. Yeah. I think we're just going to leave that as part of the intro. So
I think so, too.
yeah, welcome back on Our Mark, the Weatherby Podcast. If you listen to a previous podcast about the Vanguard Obsidian and Spike Camp, you would have seen Raleigh Whelan and Seth Hiller on that podcast. Probably in the same clothes.
Yeah, I was just going to say we do change clothes and shower.
Once a week, whether we need it or not.
Sometimes we just schedule the podcast when we need to record them and release them when we need to release them.
Yeah.
So it's just the way it goes.
But it's good to have experts like yourselves back in the seat. So
Yeah.
good.
It's great.
And
to
you're
be
still
here.
sitting in the seat, Raleigh. So good job. You could have been asked to leave. You know. Hey, didn't something come up? Yeah.
He passed muster.
No. Hey, we're here to talk about another new product.
Yeah, well, let's make sure we get introductions because there is a couple of weeks in between this actual podcast.
That's true.
And everyone's going to forget about what we said and who we are.
Yeah.
Raleigh, R-Dub, Raleigh Whelan is our director of sales.
Yes.
Seth Hiller, a.k.a. Tyler's dad,
Glad to have him.
heads
so
up our
proud of
product
him.
development team. So, and then Tyler, our co-host, and I'm Luke, your host.
Yeah.
I'm the janitor here. So, what
I was going to say it's getting a little dirty. Stop podcasting so
it
much.
actually is.
My
No,
do
the
your job.
shop is actually looking a little bit rough right now.
Is it?
Yeah, I was walking through on Friday, and I just was like, "We gotta clean this stuff up." We're growing. And,
I need you to vacuum my office.
That's what I was
when
going
this is
to
done.
say, but I was a little nervous that I might break a vacuum with how many rocks that are in my office. Wearing boots to work is not always a good idea.
No, we're actually growing quite a bit, and there's like visible signs of growing pains out in the shop because it's we've filled up this building that we moved into 5 years ago.
Yeah, I was giving a tour the other day when we stopped in the hallway and looked at the empty facility. I'm like, so that picture of that door right there is where we're going to walk into this. So just remember what this looks like. And then we open the door and it's like, oh man, you guys have got a lot of stuff in here. It's like, yeah, we've been kind of busy in the last 5-6 years here.
Yeah, we had to put up more racking just last week to make some more room for some of these new products that we're talking about. So
It's amazing it always changes, too. It's also mobile and temporary down in the shop. That every time someone
very
comes
fluid.
in for another tour,
Yeah.
it's totally changed.
Yeah. I mean, there's no perfect layout. We try to have sets on our LSS team, Lean Six Sigma, and you do spaghetti diagrams and you do things to try to make sure everything's efficient, and it's just never perfect.
Hey, constant improvement, right? Kaizen.
Yep.
He's a black belt.
Little better every day.
Almost.
I don't have a piece of paper yet.
Yeah. He's working on his black belt.
Green belt.
I think is it brown, purple,
Red.
I don't know.
It's like a graduate
I never
program.
played
hockey.
He's Division 3.
All right, sorry, we're at tangents. It's
Totally
warm.
distracted.
I just got really warm in here, but we have another new product. This is like our 4th new product this year in 2024. Tyler, tell us about the new Adventure SD.
Well, this one is going to be exciting for a lot of people. We launched Model 307 Action last year, and we had a lot of people say, hey, when is there going to be a Woodstock? Mm-hmm. So this one is going to be real popular for us. It's a little old school wood with a new school action. So, yeah, this is the Adventure SD. It's a Model 307 with a fancy grade walnut stock, all kind of the bells and whistles.
Monte Carlo, would you say?
Monte Carlo.
It's got the
it
cheek
would be
piece. Yeah.
would be Monte Carlo, yeah. And it has, man, a lot of the features that, like, when people think of Weatherby, they think of like a nice Woodstock, a very classic looking gun. So now we brought that to kind of our new line of actions. So kind of a fun new product.
Yeah, Seth, what are some of the differences on this between the Range XP and the Alpine MDT?
Well, the differences here, I mean, you're still getting the same high-quality materials on this guy. Great barrel, great action, great bolt. This one's going to have, aesthetically at least, straight flutes on the barrel and on the bolt. It's still Cerakoted, so you're going to get all-weather protection on this guy. And then the wood stock that Tyler had mentioned, obviously, that's quite a bit different than what the Range XP or Alpine MDT has. This one in particular is oil rubbed, so if you want to take this guy out in the field, it's going to be maybe a little bit less prone to getting scratched up than, say, your super fancy Mark V Deluxe that's got the super high gloss on it. So This one's a little bit more of a weather warrior for you, but still absolutely gorgeous rifle.
First Model 307 with a hinge floor plate.
Absolutely, yeah.
This one, if you're watching the YouTube video, it has a Leupold VX5 HD on there. It doesn't come with that.
Does not. It looks good on there, though. Yeah, something
No,
about
it
the
does.
gold
It's
ring
just
and
the gold ring and weather. I don't know if it's because it kind of matches the maple spacer at the front of the stock, but it just looks so good.
I love that it's got a Trigger Tech trigger too, so you're still getting like the bells and whistles of what we offer on new stuff.
Right.
And then you still have if you're watching the YouTube, we still have the toolless takedown feature too in that bolt, which is so cool.
Yeah, definitely a blend of old with new on this one, and it definitely looks good. I really like this rifle a lot.
I'm really excited about the oil rubbed finish. It's something that we get a lot of questions on, just why oil rubbed or why high gloss, and Seth touched on it, but it's just so nice to be able to hunt with a rifle and not be afraid to ding up that high gloss finish. You can at least repair this stock and get it sweated out to make the grain back to normal and then oil it again, and it's just a lot easier to care for. And it looks really good with the classic diamond on the grip cap as well. It's just a really nice looking gun. I'm stoked on it.
Comes with a muzzle brake too, so if you get one of the heavier breathing 300 Weatherbys or something like that, and you need to throw a muzzle brake on there, by golly, it comes with it. So it's also still threaded half 28, so if you wanted to suppress it, you can do that too.
Nice. So I was, a month ago, I was in Africa with Adam and Brenda, and we were carrying one of these, another gun, and a classic Mark V 257 Deluxe. This Adventure SD was in 300 Weatherby. I think it had to do with that it was in a 300 Weatherby, but Brenda shot a wildebeest. I shot a zebra. Adam shot a sable. Yeah, it put in some work.
Yeah, that was the product testing. So if you were listening to our Africa podcast, the product testing that we were doing was this. So we made sure we got it out in the field beforehand, and it looks pretty awesome.
And the stock, the whole thing actually held up really. Adam,
Did it hold up to Adam?
No, well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't think Adam's going to listen to this podcast, so I'm going to give some little nuggets here. So, he is hard on guns, like so hard.
Even around the office, but
he's known to just be hard on things. Like though, if he takes a gun out of the office, it usually comes back in way less good shape.
Not mint condition. I can usually tell who brings one back just by the condition it's in. So Adam's got a special mark on them.
It's either Tyler or Adam.
I do get blamed a lot for bringing back marketing guns.
In this title slide here, this Adventure SD that Adam's carrying, I took this picture. He about 30 minutes before I took this picture, he he fell, and it was a legitimate fall. We talked about it on that the Africa podcast, but there is a substantial gash on the other side, and almost all the pictures that you're going to see from Africa are this side of the gun. Almost none of the ejection port, because it just put a huge gash in it. But aside from that gash, there's almost no visible signs of wear that gun did everything that it did. I did laundry after this trip. It was so hot. My hat that I wore, that you said that was
Sweet
a cool hat.
yeah.
It's like a Filson pack hat, full brim.
I need one for next Halloween, by the way.
Yeah. The shirts that I had that were like kind of like a cotton, solid color, like kind of tan green, like an Africa looking shirt. They both have like stains from, I think, just the amount of sweat that was happening going to Africa in the middle of our winter, their summer. And I was like, my backpack thing that I wore, it has like sweat rings. Like, I can't believe we didn't rust something on these just from the amount of sweat that was produced. But
You oiled the stock.
yeah, no doubt. Tell you what, though,
Where were you going with that? Sorry.
I don't know. I just like we were hard on them. We were really hard on them. And it, like I said, other than that gash that was put in from a fall, there's no. But the way that fall happened, I don't think it would have mattered what stock you had. There'd be a gash there. It just hit a point of a rock perfect, and it like cut the wood.
Yeah, it's like moving furniture. Apparently, Adam's dad never gave him the same advice mine did, where skin grows back, wood don't. So I don't see him bleeding in that photograph. So apparently, he ignored that advice that maybe Ed didn't give him that
Maybe
my
didn't
father
tell him
Mike
that.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to forever remember shooting my first African animal with this exact gun. It was pretty awesome.
It's awesome.
I was pumped to shoot a zebra. 300 yards, 300 Weatherby. And yeah,
The numbers lined up.
it lined up perfect. Super fun.
Seth, what calibers are going to be available on this guy?
We got long action calibers, so we got 300 Weatherby, 257 Weatherby, 30-06, 280 Ackley, 6.5 RPM,
240?
240. Mm-hmm. 240
A lot
Weatherby.
of cool classic Weatherby cartridges in there for a good looking.
Yeah,
classic
and a
gun.
couple newer 6.5 RPM and 280 Ackley, kind of new school cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Did you say 7 PRC?
Oh, 7 PRC. Forgot about it. New school.
Yeah,
New school, old school.
I'm excited. There's been a lot of requests for a wood gun in the 307. I think it's going to do pretty good in
I know.
Wyoming, especially.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, I know your dealers have been real excited about this. We gave some sneak peeks at Pheasant Fest, and there's a couple dealers, and then just people walking the show. And it's like, what is that? It's like you're getting a sneak peek a few weeks early. So
Yeah, there's definitely been a shortage of quality wood stocks on the market with the trend of technology going to carbon fiber and polymer stocks. It's you walk into a gun shop now and it's like camo shotguns. They kind of all start to look the same after a while, but having that good, unique piece of walnut on the shelf really makes it pop. So I'm excited for that. And all the stocks look really nice that I've seen. I had 10 in my office, and Adam picked one to go to Weatherby, but there were so many that were just as nice as that one. And, it varies. It's wood, so it's going to vary stock to stock, but they all look really nice. And
Each one's unique.
yeah.
Yeah.
that's like that is the fun thing about going
Nature.
and finding one on the shelf is they are all a little bit different.
Well, and the one you like might not be the one that I like. So, I mean, that's
Exactly.
one of those where, again, everybody's got their preference. Everybody's got their taste. So,
You mentioned that there's been like a trend of dealers looking for more wood stocks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Is that regional, across the country? What do you think?
It's across the country. Like, I would say really everywhere. There's definitely in the Northeast, you hear, I did a tour of the Northeast about a year ago, and every shop we went into was, we need more wood guns, So that definitely spurred us into talking about this and making this happen. We have some other ideas for other stuff in the future. But this one is just that perfect price point. It's awesome because, we have the Vanguard Sporter. It's been around for a long time. And that's a great entry-level walnut gun. And we sell a lot of those. And we also have the Mark V Deluxe that's as fancy as you get on a wood stock. This is just a nice in-between as far as finish, and the quality of the wood is great. It's definitely a step above the Vanguard Sporter. But, I mean, even some of the Vanguard Sporters are pretty and unique in their own right. So just, it's a regional play. I guess back to your question, it depends on the dealer. I think certain dealers do better with wood than others. It's kind of what customer base comes into each shop, but they're popular all over the place. It's kind of gets back to that tradition of, hey, I remember when I had that old wood gun, or my grandpa had an old wood gun, and I want one just like him. So I think a lot of first-time hunters are going to want a nice quality walnut gun too. So
it's just getting harder and harder to find like a good wood-stocked, made-in-America gun. I mean, and that's one of those that we can be pretty proud here that this is a classic wood-stock, made-in-America gun.
Yeah, great point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gravitate towards some of our newer carbon fiber stocks, lightweight offerings, but there was something pretty cool about carrying that around in Africa, and I used a canvas sling, and it shot great. The extra mass with 300 Weatherby, it was very tame. The brake works awesome.
Yeah, they're pretty comfortable when you add that extra little bit of weight. We get into the ultra lightweight because all of us like to go hiking and stuff, but every once in a while when you sit down behind a gun that just kind of fits right and it's a little bit heavier, man, they are a pleasure to shoot.
Really are.
Yeah, and that Model 307 with Sheridan, Wyoming on the receiver there looks pretty cool with wood behind it.
It does look cool. Yeah. I think I know a couple local guys that are going to be coming in when this goes live.
Oh, yeah. This one right here is going to be in the showroom, so.
With a scope or no scope?
No scope.
It's got to get a picture made in the morning, huh?
Yeah, pictures in the morning.
Yeah, yearbook photos. Raleigh, on the last podcast that you were on, you mentioned that your sheep hunt, and we mentioned there was a deadhead. I'd like a little more expanded version of that story.
Okay, well, how long can this podcast go?
I mean, let's do like the medium short version.
That was awesome. So I was like 25 years old when I drew, and I was
a bighorn sheep
fresh out of college
in Montana.
Somewhere between Montana and Colorado.
Okay.
And didn't have a lot of money, and I was driving up, we'll say, near
where you were hunting.
Yeah.
More than one person listens to this, so don't spot them there.
Yeah.
Sheep tags are so hard to draw. It doesn't really
matter as much for sheep, but the location's not as important. I don't think.
Northwest Wyoming, we'll say that. So I was driving up every weekend. I had a great boss at the time that when I told him I drew my sheep tag, he said, "Okay, just get your work done and drive on up and hunt hard, work hard." That was kind of our motto. And so I drove up. I ended up making 6 trips, all DIY. I went with my dad and my brother on a couple. I went with one of my cousins and my dad on one, and so several trips. A couple friends. My good friend Bill Minton up in Montana had mules and horses that he brought down for this last hunt, and it's so hard to pass up on a bighorn sheep. And I saw sheep every single time.
So you were passing legal sheep.
Oh yeah, every single time. I had one during archery season that was 60 yards away that was legal, and it was like the 4th day of the season, and I was like,
What's a legal ram in Wyoming at the time?
I believe it was a full or a three-quarter curl.
So to the eye.
Yeah. I could be wrong on that, but it was definitely legal, and I just kicked kicked myself the whole way out, and then talked to a couple sheep experts. I had biologists that were kind of giving me pointers. They said, oh, no, it's early in the season, so pass it. So long story short, this was the 5th or 6th time that I went up, and we were glassing sheep, and I wasn't used to going in with mules and horses, and so I said, Bill, I'll bring the food, you bring the horses and mules, and I packed like ramen and apples, and so he was mad at me the whole time. So I was used to packing in all my weight, right?
No, that's where you can bring box wine.
Oh, yeah.
A sharpshootery board.
Yeah, sharpshootery board. So we were glassing, and he says he spotted it. I say I spot it. But we saw it up this canyon, and it took me all day to get up to where this sheep was. And my rifle at the time was sighted in for 300 yards. That's what I was comfortable shooting at. An animal like that, I didn't want to go any farther than 300 yards. I didn't have a lot of experience shooting further. So it just worked out. It was 300 yards away, and I saw it through a tight little window in the trees all by itself like it had been all day, and it was just perfect. Shot it, and I just saw a dust cloud. And I said, well, that's the one shot I'm going to get. I'm going to go see if it's there or not. And I walked up, and it was laying down, and it had been hit really hard, but it still picked its head up. And I finished it off with another shot and walked up to it. And the craziest thing, I still remember it, but there was this snowshoe hare, and it was just a bright white rabbit that was like 5 feet away from me as I'm walking up to this sheep.
That sounds pretty lucky to me.
And yeah, it was like, wow, yeah, I don't know what that meant, but it was pretty cool. And walked up to the sheep, and I guess right before I shot it the second time, it kind of picked its head up and like gave one last look across this awesome canyon that it was in. And I finished it off, saw the rabbit and all that, and then walked up, and it kind of died hanging around a lodgepole pine, and I was by myself. My brother was down at the trailhead, heard the shot. He was scrambling around, about to get lost in the woods for hours, lose his flashlight, and that's a whole nother story.
Eating
Shout out
ramen
to
and
Kevin.
apples or what?
Yeah.
Apparently.
He was battling starvation.
Don't worry, we have apples.
So I pull this sheep off the lodgepole, and I'm admiring it and everything, and there's wolf and grizzly tracks everywhere, and I'm trying to figure out what to do
What now?
next. And I let go of it for a second, and it just starts tumbling down the scree field. And I think to myself, oh my gosh, I'm going to bust up the horns. I'm going to lose the sheep. So I just start running down the scree field into this drainage, and it's getting dark. It's about dark now. It all takes a lot longer to walk everywhere in that, or hike everywhere.
It's tough
in this,
country.
In sheep country. So it's about dark, and I turn my headlamp on, and I see a horn, and I think, oh, crap. I broke its head in half. And I pick up the horn, and it's old and hollow, and then I shine the light up a little bit further, and here's my sheep, and it just looks beautiful and perfect. And
Not broke.
then shine the light up this drainage a little bit further, and there's another skull and the other horn off of that dead head. So it died literally right on the dead head. And
That's awesome.
so
Pretty cool.
So I packed them both out and back down off this cliff, and got in about midnight, and Bill was there with a bottle of Crown and an apple for me. And got them both plugged and mounted together on a pedestal mount. So
2 sheep, 1 tag. Right?
yeah,
The only
it's
way that
awesome.
story would be better if you'd shot it with a Model 307 Adventure ST.
Oh, I wish I had that gun. Yeah. Yep.
That'd be cool. Thanks
So,
for sharing that.
Yeah. Best hunt ever.
Yeah.
Should do
That
it.
sounds
I'm
pretty
going to draw
awesome.
it this year. So,
Hopefully you find that white rabbit that he had. I mean, that
yeah. In Alaska, when we were on my first caribou hunt up there, whenever we would see this little like ground squirrel thing, I forget what they call them, like it's like a little Arctic prairie dog. We would see caribou. Like anytime we ended up calling him Lucky Dog. Anytime Lucky Dog would pop his head up, we would be like, "Where is it?"
That's
and
wild.
every single time there'd be a caribou that we could see when Lucky Dog would jump out. We're like, he's got our back.
that or he just doesn't like the caribou. I don't know.
He's like, you know what? I'm gonna get rid of these suckers. These guys look like they mean business.
Yeah. Maybe they were friends too. I don't know.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. But yeah, little signs like that are kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's awesome. All right, so Adventure SD, Tyler. If people want to learn more about the Adventure SD, where can they find out?
Weatherby.com, or you can go into your local Weatherby dealer, ask some questions.
Thanks for not saying www.
I know. I wanted to so bad.
I could tell.
Yeah.
It was like right on the tip of your tongue. Yeah. But yeah, check it out. And like Raleigh said, if you go into your local dealer and they don't have one, tell them to get on with one of the distributors. They can grab one.
Yep.
So that we get a lot of people that call like, man, where can I get this? You should be able to get this thing anywhere. By the time that this podcast launches, we'll have shipped some of these, I believe. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we already shipped a few.
Yeah.
300 Weatherbys out. So.
Yeah. So there's some in the wild, and it might not be at your specific dealer, but you should be able to find one. They should be able to find one either through us or through the distribution network. So check it out.
Pretty sweet gun.
Big gulps, huh?
DJ, cue the music.